Hello, welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, I once again return to the moon to showcase a gigantic turret, where this one is inspired by the REM turret that I showcased quite some time ago, and it's called the Gatling turret Mark III, which is this glorious thing all the way over here. So this is very deceptive with its name. It's not a Gatling gun turret. This is an assault cannon turret, fires so fast that, well, it might as well be a Gatling gun at the end of the day. But I believe a demonstration is in order because it does have a fancy moving barrel. So grab hold of my character, come up to one of these doorways. Once again, it's set up very similar to the REM turret. We've got doorways on each side, go all the way through. So into this section, into here, we've got a lovely internal room that's very well protected by some blast edge blocks. And here we are on the inside. To the left of me, we've got the salvo script, which is how this whole thing is going to be functioning correctly. But I can hop into here, reline the camera, and what I'm going to do now is press number 1, where? There we go. Yes, this thing is bloody fast for, well, how fast it fires. And of course the barrel spins around and lets all the guns fire. And well, that's basically what this thing does. It's all fully properly set up so it will track enemy and start to blast them, spin around, lift up and down and all of that. Now moving the camera around, looking at the front here. And there we are, we're firing, turning it off, letting the smoke clear. And here is the front of the barrel. So yes, in each of these barrels, we've got 5 assault cannons for a total of 40, or at least off the top of my head, I believe that is 40. And yes, they're all scripted up, as you saw, and it spins around and fires at the same time. But of course, if you don't want the barrel to spin around, you will get a slightly slower rate of fire. So into here once again, press number 4, back into this, and now mouse clicking. There we are. So we get a still very rapid rate of fire, but it's a lot less slower than, well, making the barrel spin around. There we are. It might not show correctly on YouTube if it compresses too much. That is it spinning around, and that is it manually firing. Grabbing hold of my character once again, hopping out of all of this, plopping him outside. There we are. Now I'm going to come around towards the very front, go through the F10 menu, have a brief look around the outside, go around the interior properly, then we'll go and test this out against a large ship to see how well it handles that, then we fly over the top of it with a small ship to see how quickly it gets destroyed. So press the F10, find this in the spawn menu. The Gatling turret Mark III is 4,120 large blocks, using the Warfare 2, Heavy Industry, and Deck Block number 2 DLC packs. We see up to here that it was inspired by the REM Gatling turret, and there's a link right up there. I've got a nice bit of information about it, and of course the scripts it uses, as well as a bit of information showing you how you can change the rate of fire of the cannon if you want to do that. If you want to have it a bit slower, and maybe not burn through all your ammunition in a few seconds, you got that option. Or well, you can have it up to 3,600 rounds per minute. Anyway, giving this thing a thumbs up, we're going to move around towards this side right here, have a very brief look around the outside. In fact, I'll probably just pan around the outside because there's not too much really to talk about with this thing. It's just a gigantic turret. We've all seen them before. And well, like I said, we'll go around the interior, then play around with it. So for the very front over here, what we've got is a bunch of passages that lead across to a doorway. And this is going to be on each side to let you get inside, as well as make it airtight in the middle. We've got a little ladder to pop up and get inside right there. Down to there is a conveyor where the access point on the end of it has been covered up by a cap. Then we've got some lovely grey steel blocks to move across some dirty red steel blocks for the main body of this turret. Moving across slightly onto the sides, slight curvature over here in the light grey steel blocks. Then over to this section, another way to get up and inside, this time with no conveyor cap at the bottom, just a straight ladder all the way down. Towards the back, there we go, so there's a cap next to our ladder once again. Down to this side. Ladder all the way down. Moving up slightly more onto this section, so this could be the drawing of how it's going to spin all the way around. All the way through, we see a little indent all the way down, revealed to us our rotor that'll spin all the way around. Put on my light, bring through here, and there we are, there's the rotor. Then down the bottom there, we are for our sorter going all the way up. Further down here, all the way through. We will eventually come to that little room where I was standing inside of. And it looks like I have gone too far. Oh, here we are. So yes, this is the area where we were controlling earlier. Putting the camera further through these blocks, what we're going to find is some time blocks, some batteries. There's our custom weapon controller. Through here, and there's our AI blocks, which is the AI defense block. Anyway, turn my lights, pulling away from here all the way up. Here we are for the very top of this turret. So you see how it's been curved all the way around like so. That comes up onto some more rotors that connects up to our barrel, which is up there. But ignoring the barrel for the moment. Around the top onto the sides. There was our stripes of red against grey. At the back there. To the opposite side. And there we are. Moving up and looking down at this section. There we are, so we see our rotor right in the middle there. how the barrel's going to be spinning around. Then over onto this section, we've got a few match blocks clamped together. I'm not too sure why they're there, but I'm sure they're there for a very good reason. Because we've got 2 little access points right there, so you can control stuff on this barrel if you want to do that, but having to get on the inside. Based on that section, rotor, through here, and well, inside the actual gun itself, putting on my lights. And here we are. See, this is a small block grid. Moving across into this section, there's your rotor. Some fantastic use of the railings, which you wouldn't actually be able to see without breaking inside here. So unless it's got damage, unless you're able to, say, blast a hole through it and come inside, you wouldn't actually be able to see the detail going on here. That is very much appreciated with, well, how decorative it is inside this section. But no, further through here. And here we come to where all of our guns are going to be sitting. Moving the camera along. There's a bunch of columns. Over to the front. There's what we saw earlier, with all of our assault cannons in each of their barrels. So in this section, past all 5 of these. Then we come down into this section, where we see we've got even more, which is, well, quite a shock actually to see how many more assault cannons are actually inside this thing. Because yes, the barrel around the outside, despite them actually firing, a lot of them are built into the very middle. So coming across here, they're all in this section right here. So putting the camera through, there's all the barrels pointing menacingly forwards. And then down to the bottom here, and across. And there we are for each of the chambers on these sides. Kind of odd how we can actually see them, because it looks like there should be blocks on the side of this thing. But no, there we go. Anyway, pulling away from here, turning on my light once again. And around onto the side, if we have looked at that, there is the side of the gun. All the way down underneath it, there's our camera on the left and right hand side. There's the merge box once again, that's below the turret. There's the rotors once again. Then finally, all the way down underneath this thing, here we go. So we've got a bunch of batteries, there's a large cargo container for you to store all your ammunition inside, which should hopefully be enough to fire it for more than, say, like 5 minutes. And with that, I believe that is it for the outside of the Gatling turret Mark III, which looks absolutely fantastic with time being set up, and even more impressive when it starts to fire and the barrel starts to spin around. For grabbing hold of my character, we're going to return to the inside, have a look around here, then we're going to start blasting stuff up, and that'll be it for this video. So yes, on the inside here, we can close up the doorway. It's going to be very dark inside, so I'm going to have to put my light on. There's all of our blaster edge blocks. We walk around here. There's another doorway. Nothing really too much going on inside here, but that'll be right behind where our custom weapon controller is sitting, or one of our AI blocks. It's very hard to see from this side. There's the other door for the opposite side. And then around to here. There's the doorway we came in first of all. We'll close that up. There's our helm. There's a programmable block currently not in use. And there's of course our servo script which we saw earlier. So get inside here, our only controls are our camera on our left and right. Coming out of that, pressing number 4, that's going to be to take over the gun, actually be able to move it around and manually fire it, and use the mouse to actually fire it all together. There we go, it won't spin around. We have to press number 1, and of course we get our maximum rate of fire along with it. And then finally we've got number 9, which is going to be a safety toggle. So when I'm spinning this thing around and press number 9, what's going to happen is, well, it's going to keep on firing. It wants to make it spin around once again, press number 9, press number 1, press number 9 again. What's going to happen when I turn it on? Absolutely nothing. So the barrel's now going to spin around by itself. So you basically use this to test out to make sure it's all fully functioning for actually laying the gun to fire and shoot an enemy. And it goes down to this, it's shadow spinning around there. Jolly good stuff. No, press number 9, and it will resume shooting. Pressing number 1, that comes to a stop. And that's pretty much it for the controls. The looks of this thing, so it's time to play around and spawn in some ships. So here we go for the final part of this video. What I've done is spawn in the good old Albatross once again, shoved it into the ground, and well, we're going to start pummeling it, see what kind of damage we do to a stationary target. Then behind the mountainside, as you can see right there, there's a second Albatross, which are given to the space pirates to disable all of its guns. We're going to get inside that, pull it over this turret to see how well it tracks it, see how much damage it can cause. But first of all, grabbing hold of this into the camera view, and we're going to press number 1, start firing into it with the free camera, and here we go. We're going to move this all the way up the turret we go, or up the ship we go. It's a little bit wonky with my aiming, but oh, there we go. We now lost our projectiles because it's too much for the game to handle. And we're just slowly, very slowly tearing it apart. Oh my god, what happened there? That could have been the hydrogen tanks exploding. There goes the delayed reaction. There goes the other delayed reaction. Now we're going to move this all the way down. And surprisingly, it's not that overpowered at the end of the day. So it could be if you hit a hydrogen tank and it explodes, is it going to cause an issue? So grab hold of this character, out of that view, back into this. And well, we can't really see too much. Oh god, frame rate there. That was a massive drop when I zoom in. Now we're going to stop that. And it's time to actually finish off this video by flying over these space pirates. But no, look at the damage done to that ship. It's just being torn apart. but that was a hell of a lot of shots to achieve that. And well, there's the other end of the ship right there. But no, it's time for me to get into the space pirate ship and fly all the way over to it. So across to here, behind the mountainside, there is the enemy ship. And now I'm going to drop my character down, jetpack across, and make my way towards the very front. So dropping down, breaking these doors. And here's the front, into the seat, realigning this. And now what we're going to do is, wherever that turret has gone, I believe it is right behind me. Hiding all the signals, we don't need to see any of them, in fact we don't even need to see the HUD. And here we come all the way around. So the turret is in the distance, I'm not too sure on its range, but it should be fairly long because it is assault turrets, or assault cannons even. And here we come all the way across. And there we go, the turret is now, whatever reason, shooting into the other ship. It's now turning around, it's trying to go for me. And there we go. It was quite odd there. I thought I had a vendetta against the other ship, but no, here we are, we're now flying across. And we are slowly being deconstructed by the turret. It does seem to have, oh god, I was going to say, it does seem to have, what on earth happened there? I have no idea. But yes, as I was saying, it does seem to be quite slow turning around. And for whatever reason, the camera got ejected out of the ship, but the ship is still, well, the seat is still attached onto the ship. And eventually those hydrogen tanks will explode and that will tear the ship apart. Here we come around again. And while I am trying to turn this thing, looking around here, what's actually happened? I'm not actually too sure what happened there or why the camera just got pinged out. And, oh, that's a very odd view. There we go, the front has been disconnected completely. We're now going to fall down to the ground. And the turret is still shooting into it with the free camera. Moving across. What is going on? Is that still firing? No, it is not. And it looks like the ship is in a very poorly condition. It will slowly float away. It looks like it is trying to come to a stop. It might come to a stop, but the front of the ship will not, as it's going to fly away into the distance and eventually slam into the ground. But no, that is that for the turret, and what it can do, what it looks like inside and out, and the destructive capabilities of it, and the tracking capabilities of it. It's once again a fantastic giant gun to use in your world, because my character slamming to the ground, once again getting pulled out of the camera for whatever reason. And as per usual, there will be a link to its description below to which you download and play around yourself. Highly recommend you do. These types of weapons are always fun to play around with, especially in creative. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.